Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine. So vinyl sales overtake CD for the first time. This is the headline that has been going around for the last few days from The Guardian, Sky News, The Telegraph, various music mags, various bloggers, vloggers, podcasts, whatever you mention, Facebook groups. Everyone's talking about it, and lots of people have been asking to know what my thoughts are. And I think this is especially true since I've been doing my weekly Chart Watch series, that I've been monitoring and collecting stats on CD and vinyl sales, and basically physical sales overall, with streaming. So obviously, over the past few weeks, I have been championing CD sales because I always feel they get bad press, and I know that the people that write headlines in any newspaper, you need to get people to click on those links. And so, you know, the more kind of dramatic that headline is, the more chance it is that someone's going to come and check it out and either disagree or agree or hopefully share it. So I understand that. So has the once mighty CD, as The Guardian called it, actually fallen from grace and seem like lines saying, is the CD dead? Oh dear. I mean, that does kind of get to me really, but hopefully as I go through this in a sensible way, using data and statistics, you'll see what I mean, and also the ethos behind what Now Spinning Magazine is all about, and how I think that the media is portraying this incorrectly, and I've got this wrong. Right, first of all, I'm just going to read out some stats. So we know that CD sales, the way that this is being written sounds like no one's buying them, no one's interested. So this is data from the last 12 weeks based on the UK album charts, where I've looked at what came number one, sometimes number two, but primarily what got to number one and how it did it. So this is just random, but I'll mention people like Taylor Swift as well. In fact, I'll go there first. So in the first week of release for Taylor Swift, she sold a massive 204,501 copies of the Midnights album. Physical sales were a whopping 139,000 physical albums sold. CD sales were 75,667. And vinyl was 61,948. So yes, it was the fastest selling vinyl album. Spectacular, dramatic, but it wasn't as many as the CD copies sold in the same week. Arctic Monkeys, the same week, got to number 2 in the charts. They sold 119,000 copies of that album in the first week. CD sales were 57,934. And they sold 37,866 vinyl albums. So CD sales were way above the vinyl album for that artist in that week. Okay. What else have I got? Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott got to number 1 with 19,597. 15,420 were on CD and 2,763 were on vinyl. Youngblood got to number 1 with 27,800 sales, 14,000 were on CD and 5,000 were on vinyl. Who else have I got here? Muse got to number Will of the People, 51,000 copies sold, 19,500 on CD, 18,500 on vinyl. Cliff Richard, Christmas with Cliff, 24,358 sales, 21,976 on CD, 1,142 on vinyl. Dermot Kennedy, a new artist, got to number 1 with 25,748. CDs were 14,661 and 4,479 on vinyl. Even the week up to Christmas, when Taylor Swift made it back to number 1, she sold 48,000 copies, 8,232 on CD and 4,007 on vinyl. The Beatles' Revolver got to number 2, 20,931 sales, 11,561 on CD and 5,832 on vinyl. Have I got anything to balance this out? Olly Murs got to number 1, 20,156 sales. CD was 16,993. Vinyl was 1,000. Sam Ryder, Nothing But Spaceman, sales 24,847, CD sales of 15,921, vinyl sales of 2,651. Now, if you subtract all of those CD sales from all of the artists I've just mentioned there who got to number 1, they would not have made the number 1 position. They wouldn't have got there. And all of those examples, the CD outsold the vinyl equivalent. Now, depending on how the media works and what's being pushed, that could easily be put into the press as saying the CD comeback, the rise of the CD, the humble CD bounces back, because the numbers there are huge. So what is going on here? It's to do with revenue, not really so much with actual unit numbers. A CD is $9.99, $10.99 perhaps, when you walk into a bricks and mortar record shop or go to an online retailer, whereas the vinyl equivalent is going to be between £30 and £35. So, you know, the actual revenue is going to be more for vinyl, and that is what you're seeing. I don't think it's about CD versus vinyl. My beef is that I wish people just talk about CD as being a valuable component of physical music. It's still worth nearly £100 million in the UK alone. No one's going to turn their back on that. If vinyl is 116 million, you know, a big percentage of overall music sale revenue is from the CD, which isn't going to die out. There was a stat which I read out in my most recent chart watch, looking at Christmas week in the year 2010, wasn't it? When there was something like 1 million CDs sold and 46,000 cassettes, and there were 566 vinyl albums sold in 2010, in that 1 week coming up to Christmas. Were people then saying vinyl is finished? Is it going to die out? Only 566 vinyl albums sold in Christmas week compared with 1 million CDs? Look where we are now, just literally 12 years later. It's all been still pushing the fact that the CD is dead and nobody likes it. The fact is that music fans like all formats. And this video isn't a physical music versus streaming either. I stream music every day. You know, if I'm upstairs, you know, a different room in the house, I stream music. I don't have a CD player in every room. I stream in the car. I subscribe to Spotify to discover new music, using it like the radio. I have Apple Music because I've got my CD collection in the cloud, so I can just, you know, press random shuffle whenever I like, or whenever I'm going out travelling or something. You know, I can take a Bluetooth speaker with me and I can listen to my music that I physically own, or I can stream stuff that someone's recommended to me, or someone said, you should check out this band, Phil. You know, and I'll go off to Bandcamp and stream music, and if I like it, I will buy a physical version of it. And what will I buy? It depends. If it's something that's looking at a whole band's catalogue, it's going to be easier to buy a box set with all the CDs and a DVD in it. So, you know, which Cherry Red, you know, their output of CD box sets and CD releases is probably higher now than it's ever been. And they sell really well. As a company, they're doing incredibly well. Sometimes it might be a special release, and I'll buy a vinyl album because it just pops across my radar and I think, yeah, I'll give that a go. Or it could be something where I buy the CD and the vinyl album, depending on my relationship to that artist. Or it might be something I just stream because I don't feel it's something that I feel that connected to. Because what I've learned from doing this is that music fans, people that love music, they're not thinking in the silos like the press and all this news comes across. Oh, CD sales are down, or CD sales are up, or vinyl's going up. And to be honest, vinyl has gone up by about 1.5, 1.8% this year, so it's almost plateaued, you could say. 15 years of continuous growth, just about. But there's no doubt about it that it's popular. It's great to see. It's great to go into record shops and see young people buying vinyl albums. Is it overpriced? Well, you'll all be expecting me to say it is. But £30 for a vinyl album, gatefold sleeve with a little booklet inside, well, an album-sized booklet in it, seems about right, considering how expensive albums were comparable to wages in the 70s and 80s. It's probably not far off, to be honest. But a vinyl album is probably seen more as a luxury item. You know, you're not going to spend £120 a month buying one a week, but maybe you'll buy one vinyl album, two, three CDs, and you'll just... And that's the thing about like multi-format boxes. People are quite happy to do that. I am. I'll buy a box that has an album in it and a CD in it and a booklet in it and a DVD in it, because music fans want to be closer to the artist. You want to be closer to the storytelling of the music, to feel part of it, and that's the physical connection. And I think that's where a lot of these newspaper articles are missing the point, that you're not trying to pitch vinyl against CD and see which format is going to die out. CD isn't going to die out. I can tell from the thousands of people that watch, listen and read and are part of my communities under Now Spinning magazine, that people love the CD format, but they equally love vinyl records as well. And a fair few of them like cassettes. And all of us, high percentage of all the people that follow Now Spinning magazines also stream it on a daily basis. You know, travelling, commuting, at home, upstairs, in the garage, in the garden, you know, and then play music and collect music. And it's just so... The thing is, it isn't, as I said, it's not CD versus vinyl. It's not even physical music versus streaming. All of us do all of those things now. It's part of the makeup of being a fan of the music art form and thinking of ways of supporting the artist, really. So thank you for listening and thank you for watching, and subscribe so you can see the weekly chart watch video, or check out the other videos in the series where I've looked at different formats and CD and vinyl, and subscribe, and I shall see you very, very soon.